Thanks a lot for coming on. Really appreciate
No
it.
worries.
And also, congratulations on your guild success. You guys are now third in the world, 6 out of 10 bosses down. And could you please talk to us a little bit about how you kind of arrived there and also kind of who you are, where you're coming from, and what guild you're from?
So my name is Bastu or Ryan. I'm from Pieces. I'm an officer in Pieces. I do all the like kind of behind the scene logistics stuff
Yeah.
over here, all the spreadsheet stuff. About the guild, how we got here. I mean, obviously today at least how we got here. It's been a very long day. I think we've been going for like 16 hours.
Yeah.
Um, we would have wanted to have killed 7 bosses, but yeah, I think we're doing okay. I mean, there's not much to say about where we like how we got here, but I can tell you for a fact that when we get to the later bosses, there's going to be some spicy stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Oh, all right.
That is your signature.
yeah.
That is actually your signature
Well,
as a
no,
guild.
it's funny. Like in previous, like pieces, you go back to like Battle of the Design Law. So we day raided the first day there, and we killed Mechagon like faster than any other EU guild.
That's
Like
really
we've
impressive.
previously we'd been known for like having a fast start off the blocks, um, and we realized that was kind of a weakness in the sense that we always got to the last boss and I mean just fell flat a bit. I mean, look at Queen Ashara and not Unat, N'Zoth. So
Yeah.
we've been focusing a lot more on the later bosses, and hopefully the stuff we can pull out will be good enough to bring in some kills. But yeah,
Well, let me ask you something, right? So you're talking
yeah,
about day rating, and you're
yeah,
competing here against a lot of these guys. Guess what? Limit's day rating, Echo's day
yep,
rating. Of course they are. How long are you
yeah.
guys going to continue to day raid? And is this something you're going to do through the entirety, or what's your schedule really going to look like here?
So we started today at 8 a.m., which is when the servers went up, and we'll finish about now, basically.
Uh huh.
But in general, we're going to raid from 10 a.m. till midnight. Will be the schedule until the boss dies. We might have a few like pauses around Christmas. I mean, for a lot of Europeans, Christmas is on the 24th,
Uh huh.
and for some, it's on the 25th. So we might have a few like Christmas dinners and stuff, but it shouldn't be too much of a hold up. And our aim is to day raid until the bosses die.
Look, you don't want to let
Um,
Christmas get in the way of a raid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
who needs all that family stuff? We don't need that.
Yeah,
We
Name
yeah.
a
just need to
better
kill the bosses,
gift than
obviously.
loot in game.
Very
Yeah.
There
true.
isn't one.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
it
mean, exactly.
33?
The best Christmas present I could get is a weapon from Mythic Denathrius, right? I
There
mean,
we
that's
go.
what's
Yeah.
really important. So,
Yep. I have one question though.
so yeah,
Obviously,
yeah. What's up?
Master Loot's still not back in the game, which definitely affects
Yeah.
different things like splits. But I think it really affects you guys a lot too. And I want to know: would you guys still be raiding with Joker D if Master Loot was in the game?
Oh.
Okay. Well, as long as he wasn't the Master Looter, I think we'd be safe, right? I mean, all seriousness about Master Loot. I mean, while it would be good to have back, it would cause a level like the race now brings a level of degeneracy that it doesn't even compare to previous expansions. If we had Master Loot, right?
Oh no.
So you had 30 raiders, you'd have 30 splits
Oh my
because you just
God.
have. I mean, obviously,
You
probably
think
not
that would
30
happen?
splits, but
There would be 30 splits. And also, I have a question. What was your prep for this raid? What did you guys do to get ready for this raid?
Well, in terms of what? Because I mean, there's unlimited amounts of prep. Because everything we prep, everything we possibly can think of, we prep. So I mean,
What kind of gear
give
did
some
you try to
examples.
get going into the raid? How many splits did you do with your other characters? How many characters did you level up for the raid? Things like that.
Okay, so we did like a lot of us have like if you compare us to the other guilds, a lot of us have like jobs and stuff running
Yep.
up to the race that we only really take time off. Like some of us are students and in the wage cage,
Yeah.
and so we only had 6 characters. Normally we'd have like people come in and help us with splits,
Hmm.
but obviously because of the difficulty of the raid this time around, we didn't. So we just ran 6 splits. We killed Side Nathrius 5 times. We just tried to optimize as well as possible. Regarding it now, you might have seen our tweet that we basically put out yesterday. We're like Pieces is probably the richest guild by far in gold because of Yeah, we do a lot of gold boosting as soon as the tier's over and stuff.
Heroic
And
N'Zoth.
Mythic as well. And we basically offered, anyone that has a heroic Denathrius weapon, or the eye level, so they've done a lot of PvP and looted a weapon from their box. They can join our raid, next few days. If they loot us a weapon, we'll pay them 1 mil.
Wow.
And this is something we planned since the start, was to basically pay people to, join our raid so that we can, take the loot. I mean, we're not spending gold on anything else. Like we only spend gold on BOEs and items basically. Like before, so on Monday, I basically spent all day buying BOEs across, I think it was like 17 different servers in the EU.
Yeah.
So everyone had, full socketed BOE. Like every single raider had exactly what they wanted with avoidance, speed, all of that. And we'll do that for Mythic as well. Like something that's like we prioritize heavily is trying to like help others, like, give us gear by using our gold, basically. Like we tried to play to our advantage. And I think that's a big part of the preparation that we did, is farming metric tons of guild banks upon guild banks.
How much? How much this tier?
How much do we have total?
How much have you spent already? How much have you spent already?
How much have we spent already? I don't know. Probably 1/9 of what we have. So we probably spent like 50 mil.
So you have close to half of $1 billion gold. Is that right?
Oh my god!
Yeah, so something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a lot of gold, but we spread it across all the servers basically. So any BOE pops up, like we track BOE. As soon as a BOE pops up on the server, I'm logging over and buying that straight away.
So you guys have got like that website,
man.
like how they used to have with corruption, so you could go and just immediately find out what the BOEs are, what server they're on, and just buy them.
We have our own version.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
But yeah, we did this last year as well. I think us and Limit were probably the guild that like dominated the BOEs quite a lot.
Wow. So I have a question for you. I have a question for you with the prep.
Yeah, what's up?
One of the big things that everybody was talking about is, when are people actually going to craft their legendaries? There was a lot of fear as to whether different things are going to get nerfed, whether you were going to need a specific legendary for a different wall. When did you guys actually craft your legendaries, or do you have any players who haven't crafted legendaries that are still in the main group right now?
So, this actually kind of ties into the difficulty of heroic. So I think obviously it was tuned. The bosses were tuned right around having legendaries, and so us not crafting legendaries made the bosses harder. We chose to craft, like, obviously it's typical heroic week. You get the Monday night tuning, like the patch notes. Normally classes are buff, nerf, legendaries are changed. Not much was actually changed this time around, but we basically waited for legendaries until Monday night. When the patch notes were done, people could start crafting their legendaries if there was a very obvious option. A lot of people didn't craft until after they'd opened their Great Vault. For example, if they had a choice between head and shoulders to craft their legendary in, they would see, maybe they got a head or shoulders in the box, and then obviously they would wait to loot that and then craft. But basically it was, taboo in the guild to craft a legendary until, the tuning pass had been done. Which kind of like as a casual, it must really suck, right? But I think the idea of it must suck in, you craft a legendary in fear that it's going to get nerfed.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Blizzard actually didn't really touch much of the legendaries, probably because of fear of that. Yeah, I would hate to be a player that gets home 5 p.m. every day, looks forward to playing Shadowlands. You get home on a Monday night, and the legendary that you've been looking forward to playing with all week, that you've crafted the day before, is just gone. You might as well throw it in the bin.
Yeah, I think that's something that they worried about, and I think that Blizzard said whenever they were going to, because they'll inevitably rebalance covenants to some degree, and they even said that they can always just make it to where you can get a free swap. So I do hope that if they can effectively, temporarily pull the ripcord there, and basically just give people the opportunity to do the same thing with legendaries and just refund Soul Ash.
I've got a funny story about that actually. Yeah? One of our raiders, so Boomkins right now, they have a covenant, they were choosing between Kyrian and Night Fae. Night Fae's very OP if you've seen it. It's Convoke. Sorry if you can hear my dog. It's Convoke, it casts loads of 16 different spells within the Druid spellbook.
Yes.
And so one of our druids, he was Night Fae, and he pre-did the quest for Kyrian to be able to swap quickly, in case it ever arose. Anyway, he logged on last night, and he had an auto hand-in, add-on.
Oh no!
And,
no!
So this is probably 10 p.m. last night. He's thinking this guy is the best geared druid in the world at this point, right? He was 210 last night. He was the best geared in the guild by far. He was ready to wake up this morning and bang. He logged in last night and he swapped Covenant by accident.
Wow! And is he going to be able to progress with you guys?
Well, fortunately he had a second druid that also got a legendary from Heroic, and he's been gearing that up all day.
Wow! All right. Well, that's the benefit of having 6 characters, isn't it?
But yeah, he was definitely not very happy about that. I can tell you. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to embarrass him. But yeah, I mean,
How did he tell you guys? How did he come? What happened?
This is even better. So we were in a guild meeting last night, just talking about, make sure you set your alarms and all this stuff. And our tank, Andy, he's a Kyrian. And he says the player's name and says, you have to tell them. And, everyone's in TS is like,
oh, no.
What are you talking about? So our tank sees the druid in the Kyrian, class or whatever you call it, the Kyrian area. And he's like, why is this Boomkin in the Kyrian place?
Oh my god.
And so he hadn't told anyone because he didn't want to interrupt the meeting. And so, yeah, it came out very badly.
It's like seeing a relative at a strip club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing here? I'm here for the buffet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit unlucky. And obviously he had already swapped. You can't go back, right?
Did he try to put in a ticket and be like, listen, guys, I didn't mean it.
It's funny. We wrote to our dev contacts. We wrote to everyone we could.
Yeah.
I mean, we wrote letters to Santa. Nothing was getting that. But that character is doomed.
Jeez.
I mean, it's literally, he now has 2. He has one druid that's 203 and one that's 210.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. When he said it in TeamSpeak, I was just like, 50% of the guild was laughing, right? At that point, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, but we were in hysterical laughter because it's just different. You can't do anything, It's just unlucky.
Preach should put that in drama time. That's a drama
really
time
funny.
Story if I've ever heard one.
You have to tell them. Oh god, man.
Just standing next to him, surrounded by the ugly ass Alkins, just making fun of you, just taunting you with their furry little asses, dude. Oh no. Oh, that's rough. Have you guys had any other hiccups like that, or has it been smooth sailing?
Yeah, I mean, other than that, it's been pretty. Oh, actually, no, that's a complete lie. We started our splits Wednesday. We continued them on Thursday. So Wednesday is the reset day for EU, as you know. So we got 4 splits done on Thursday. Thursday comes, our tank, he logged. We see him on Discord on his phone. He said, "Guys, I've got no power."
Oh.
So our main tank, the person who does a lot of the shot calling and all of this in all the splits, he had no power. So we lost the 3/4 of a day of splits. So that was a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's been too many hiccups. I hope for no more.
With this race in general, how have you felt with the overall balance? I know going into this, a lot of people were like, man, Heroic felt tough. Have you felt like this was a harder or an easier raid than you expected?
I don't think that, obviously it's been a lot harder than, especially on Heroic, it's been a lot harder than people expected. I don't know that's 100% intended by the devs. I think the problem is that every testing was with such high level. You know, everyone. So when we go into raid testing, right, we use Darkmoon Fair trinkets, stuff that completely cheeses the bosses, like legs with procs from Crucible of Storms, anything that will get us to be able to like push further into the boss, to be able to see more timers, more mechanics and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's the data they have to pull from. So they're probably thinking, oh, look, these guilds are getting super far with their obscenely high eye level and, you know, incredibly cheesy gear, and they tune according to that. Which obviously that's, you know, that's also partly our fault. But again, you know, we need to see as much as we can. And because of that, I think that's probably why the tuning's quite hard. I mean, maybe they wanted it, right? Maybe they wanted only 100 or so guilds to be able to kill Side and Aphrius heroic in the first week. It's definitely cool, because previously, you know, getting a heroic kill in the first week, while short, it's a bit of an achievement. It wasn't like a big achievement. I mean, now, you know, getting ahead of the curve this past week has been massive. Regarding Mythic, it's about as hard as expected. I think it's quite hard to make bosses super hard for very coordinated guilds.
Yeah.
But I think so far, like what they've done has been like pretty perfect. I mean, all the bosses we've played today have been great. I don't think they could have made it harder without, you know, adding obscene number checks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The mechanics have been pretty good. I mean, the raid in general is really great.
Dude,
That's
I'm excited
Yeah.
to see what you guys can actually do as well. I you know, been a big fan of you guys for a long time, and getting to see you guys just get more and more support, so you can focus more and more on the raid. Has this really felt like a turning point for you guys, where you can completely focus on the raid?
Yeah, definitely. So since I don't know, April, basically after last tier, I mean, we decided to, you know, branch out into becoming an org, you know, an esports org.
Yeah.
Which is basically necessary if you want to compete in the raid nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to pay your raiders and all that stuff like this, it's super important to be able to like motivate people. I mean, after the tier, we lost 5 or 6 raiders to what was then Method. Yeah, I mean, if you have to pick between 2 guilds, right, one that can pay you and one that can't, yeah, you can make a living off of one. And so we basically had to go down this route. And I mean, it's been good. We brought in support staff. My girlfriend has taken a big part of that, and then we brought in someone new called Jenny, and we have a lot of staff now, basically, that help us do a lot, so that we can focus on the race. And it's been great. It's been hard. Like it's. I mean, as you guys know, like you've just set up a OTK.
We can literally say
thing.
the exact same thing to you.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, and I've probably, I don't know, since September, I've probably spent 10 hours a day doing something related to pieces.
Wow, 100%. I mean, just a little look behind the scenes for some of the people who want to know. Like, even setting up something like this takes a lot of time, and you know, you were in all those calls. I couldn't even make all those calls with everything we were doing with OTK, and like Tips was there with you guys, and you know, it's really incredible to see what you've been able to do with pieces, with the entire group, what you've been able to do to actually set up everything on the org side, to set up that infrastructure, and then get down to business, have $500 million gold, and be able to raid the way that you guys are. And that's one of the reasons, you know, I've always been cheering for you guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been good. It's been a long road, like the past like I don't know what it's like 9 months now of like building this, and you know, I think even before we had the org, we had a lot of support from people in the EU, especially on like our server, Draenor. Like, you know, we'd have people whispering us in support and stuff like this all the time. And obviously, like becoming more like having, you know, a large Discord server, having a Twitter and all that stuff like this, we've seen the support that people in the EU, and well, not just the EU, people from all over the world have given us. And, you know, it just pushes us to do as much as we can to do well in the race. You know, we don't just want to win for us, which is what previously it was. We want to win because, you know, we have like families watching us on Twitch. You know,
you don't want to let down
it's become
old
like
dad.
way bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. Like, you know, it's it's become a lot bigger. But it's cool. And, you know, obviously you guys being in the scene now is hopefully takes it to the whole next level.
We're doing our best, man. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully you can open some more Spectral Tigers.
It's
We're
not hopefully.
trying.
It's 100%, man. Next one's going to be 100%.
We got 2 more in that box.
Yeah,
2
yeah.
more.
Yeah, of course.
At least. Gentlemen, the reason why we're just sitting around here chilling is because we are about to have an interview with one of the members of Complexity Limit. We're going to talk to them about what they've been struggling with, what they've been succeeding with, and everything else in between.
For a few of the folks in our chat right now, they wanted to get to know you just a little bit better. So can you talk about kind of where you fit in on the roster and what you do inside of Complexity Limit?
Sure. So I was one of the founding members, but I kind of bounced in and out of the game for a while for various reasons. So I've kind of, the most recently, I haven't been raiding in Limit since Jaina. And I've kind of stayed in the background, guild management side of things the entire time. So now I'm back, not really to play, but still be kind of management side, but more directly involved with the kind of bench raid leading strategy we're using.
Yeah.
We kind of just ramped it up this tier, and we have like 3 people basically full-time helping from the bench, including Max.
Wow. So you guys are
just fitting in the same thing, just trying to improve every tier, really.
So I'm actually so glad that you guys started doing this, and I wanted to ask you, basically, in Ny'alotha, I think this is the first tier that you guys ever did this, you started actually having, effectively, a 21st member of the raid, which is the raid leader that's doing it off of the raid. How exactly did you arrive at that, and do you think that's actually increased, like, your capabilities as a raiding team?
It's definitely great. That's why we're doing it again.
There you go.
We kind of worked our way up to it with various other bosses. Like for example, on Jaina, my class was pretty bad, so I sat, but I was still kind of the healing coordinator, officer, whatever you would call it. So I ended up calling healing cooldowns from the bench on Jaina just with a Discord stream. So it's something we've kind of used on specific bosses before. We also did it on Zakul. In the Ashara raid, where it was a 1 tank, so Max was sitting. And that's when Max realized that this is something he thinks would really benefit. But we had also done it in other ways. We also did it on Ashara. We had one of our hunters, Padra, was calling a specific mechanic on that fight. So we've kind of used it here and there. And I know in the past, 2 guilds that were on our server, Encore and Big Dumb Guild, had done it full-time as well. I know at one point, Encore's guild leader and raid leader were like living together. So the raid leader at one point was raid leading from like another monitor connected to his roommate's PC. So I mean, this is something guilds have done before, but not really, in the full limelight of going for world first.
You guys have formalized it.
Yeah, it's definitely effective.
So with this race so far, when we first saw everything in Heroic, we were like, oh my gosh, this is looking like it is going to be a very difficult tier. Now that we saw you guys actually move through some of the fights with such a low pool count, we're starting to we're asking ourselves if we were maybe wrong. Obviously, we haven't gotten to see Sludgefist yet. What's your take on the raid right now as far as difficulty does go, and maybe some expected pull counts for some of the bosses that we're still going to see?
It's really hard to predict pull counts, but I would say the difficulty is kind of where we expected it. In like, we had a couple scenarios in mind. Obviously on Monday we were thinking, hey, the raid could just be ridiculously overtuned and you can't kill the second boss, that sort of thing. But this current tuning is kind of not only where we'd like it, where we think it's it's a good fit, but also kind of one of our scenarios we have in mind. And I think the speed, I mean, that's the thing about this world first race, is it's kind of an arms race, especially with this bench raid leading stuff now, is that all the guilds competing are improving every time. So, it's not as if this raid is just easier than the last one necessarily. It's that we're kind of maybe innovating, not just us, but Echo and others as well, in terms of just trying to always get better. So I would say, like, a good example of what I mean is that if our same guild, in its form from Uldir, was doing this boss or this raid, we would have way higher pull counts.
Yeah.
Right. And that was just 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago, something like that.
Last expansion. Speaking of Echo, according to our chat right now, not 100% confirmed, it seems like they may have caught up. They may have just gotten down.
I thought there was something wrong with our mics.
What'd you say?
I thought there was something wrong with our mics.
No, Echo, the guild. 7 out of 10 now, allegedly, according to chat, and we know chat can't lie. So let's say that that's not a debate. Still, the amount of time that it took them to get it down was quite significant. They've been pulling for a decent chunk of time. And on your end, y'all turned off the stream and got the boss down in 20 minutes. What the heck did you guys do? Can you reveal the secrets, please?
Yeah, so a video is coming.
Okay. Where can people check out the video too?
I believe it's probably gonna be first shown on the Complexity stream.
There you go.
Cool.
But the story with that is that it was 11 p.m. when we got to the boss, or maybe it was 10:30, something like that. But we basically normally end at midnight. So we could either do one split or part of a split, but that didn't seem efficient. So what we wanted to do was pull the boss and test weak cores, test our strat, just see what it's like. And we've done this before where we turn off the stream for stuff like this, where we have no intentions of killing the boss on, in the shadows, hiding anything. We had an intention of hiding some strategy in weak cores for sure. That was the point.
But not to actually kill it.
We didn't intend on killing it. And
Right.
actually it ended up being kind of easier than we thought. Also the strat, we kind of were planning or had in mind the kill order, all the things we were going to do. It just kind of worked perfectly right away. So we thought, we might just kill it right here. And we did. So what ended up happening too was we only had one person recording, and it was shadow play. So he wasn't even really intentionally recording.
Yeah.
So we've had video editors trying to save that video all day because it had DMCA music over it.
Oh,
and
no.
Gosh.
So I think it's good now. And it's gonna be out, so you can see that we didn't exploit or anything. But that was it literally was exactly what Max said, where we maybe it wasn't an accident, we didn't pull it and randomly kill it, but we didn't go into turning our streams off and saying hey, we're gonna kill this and hide it.
All right. Well, it was awesome getting to chat with you. Good luck with everything, and hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks,
Right
Dad.
on.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys.
So, I wonder why they call him Kevin.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably one of his old gamer tags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really old. Maybe even a 20-year-old gamer tag that he's just kind of stuck with. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, I guess.
Had it for a long
Kind
time.
of like a Zakrar or something like that.
Yeah. I've had my gamer tag actually for a really long time, but not as long of a time as
this
these
it?
guys were working on this pool. I'm pretty sure that we're actually going to be watching the kill attempt right now. This is going to be a VOD from the kill attempt. It's the first time that we got to see it. It happened during that interview with tags. Let's see how Roger Brown and Echo were able to get down this boss.
They've gone to 22%. They're kiting a stone guard around the outside of the room. And if you look at all the waiters, look at the waiters. They're just looking. Dude, they're waiting for something to happen. Take a look at them over on the left side of the
hanging out,
room.
dude.
They're just chilling, looking at the ox. Wait, that's a mushroom? Wait, they're next to a mushroom. What's going on with that mushroom over there? Why do they like mushrooms so much? What the hell's going on? This is a different kind of dance than I thought it was going to be. This is more like a rave.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you after.
okay.
Oh my God! You've got both the different stone guards running around the room. The Nicholas is down to 8%, 7% health. Everybody's alive. They're just chilling.
Just blasting
6% health. They're popping off. It looks like this is going to be an easy kill. Look at that kiting, too, from that Demon Hunter. He's doing such a good job running them around the room. And then the boss
And there it is.
There it is, dude.
Shrooms
There
are
it is.
really just going
it is,
to
dude.
open up your perspective on this fight.
There it is,
And
dude.
on top of that, yeah, it really ultimately was Shrooms to not only cause an ego death, but the death of this boss.
I would have never expected that. Now, guys, obviously we did have a pinata to do. We do have another giveaway to do right now.
We do.
We were going to do it at the beginning, but we figured, you know what? Since Complexity got the kill off stream, we wanted to wait for an actual real kill of the boss that you guys could see so we could celebrate that live with you, and we're about to do that right now.
How am I looking, boys?
You look awesome.
I look good. I look good.
You never
What?
look better.
About
Never look
that.
better.
When we cut to that,
All right, here we go.
Okay, I'll spin you around.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I got these on. All right, here we go. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Up, right there.
My bad. Sorry.
Did I get it?
Ooh, that's
Not
some
enough.
good damage.
Not enough.
Pretty good damage, though.
Hey.
A Death Knight would have one-shotted it.
Oh, I got nerfed. What can I say? The reward, the giveaway for boss number 7 is going to be holy shit, Thrall statue.
Whoa!
Yeah, the Thrall statue. We're giving away.
Who is paying for this?
Yeah.
What is going on?
What fucking intern made these fucking prizes?
What are we gonna get on a Lamborghini next? Yeah. What's going on?